Okay. DW Gaming here. We've got a developer update that was just released. The March 2023 Tools of Torment mid-chapter update. Right off the bat, I will say that this update does nothing to address the DDoSing issue. So that's lovely. And I know there's probably been a whole slew of people who've already covered this update, but you haven't heard my opinion on it, so we'll cover it, if only briefly. So the first thing that they're changing is the thing with the blood web to make spending blood points go faster, which is fine. I mean, it needed an update, so there's nothing really to say about that. Second is the visual terror radius. The only issue I have with that is why hasn't there been some kind of quality of life change like this for Killer? It seems to be one-sided. So I'm sure people who are hard of hearing or who have a just don't play Killer as aren't what am I trying to say? It's just that the visual terror radius is fine, but it's like it's for Survivor only. And when you have killers who, when you play as Killer, you often rely on sound to be able to track survivors. And it would be nice if they did something for Killer as well. But, I mean, yeah, whatever. There's no point in talking about it. This company has always come out with a one-sided updates and not really taking into consideration how Killer players play the game, whether this would benefit them as well. So, I don't know. Some kind of maybe base Shadowborn buff for Killer. Just increase the POV, maybe. I mean, it's fine they're doing this for Survivor players, but there's nothing being done for Killer players, so whatever. Then they go on to talk about the Autohaven updates. They're eliminating the long car walls, I guess, or putting gaps in between them to make it easier to traverse the map. It's whatever. These are very minor updates to these maps. I'm glad they're not completely destroying them like they did with the Red Forest maps. Those maps have gotten like 10 times worse now, so it looks like they're just making some minor tweaks to the Autohaven maps, which is fine. Okay, now to the big things. So we've got several big changes coming here, not the least of which is healing. So I'm just going to skim this. Basically, healing will now take 24 seconds by default. It was previously 16 seconds. They've also changed medkits. Medkits will now have 24 charges by default. So basically, all medkits will now allow only one self-heal before they're gone. And they've made changes to several of the different types of medkits. Camping aid kit, the brown one, increases the altruistic healing speed by 20%. It was 25%. If you have a brown med kit, you're not going to be using it on anyone else, so that doesn't really matter. First aid kit. That was the yellow. Increases the altruistic healing speed by 25%, was 35. I'm not sure why they're nerfing altruistic healing speeds. Usually if you're playing as killer, you want survivors to be... Well, it does take them longer now, which is good. You want them to be occupied with something other than gens. So I can see why they're doing it. Yeah. Emergency medkit, the green one, which was basically let you heal yourself in a record amount of time. So it's like they changed it to where it only increases the altruistic healing speed by 30%. It was 50%. I think it was 50% on yourself as well. But it no longer increases the speed at which you heal yourself, which is good. And the Ranger medkit, the purple one, that's the best medkit in the game. Increases the altruistic healing speed by 35%, so they've nerfed that. Okay. They've nerfed the skill check success zones. That's whatever. Yeah. So, okay. Then they talk about how they looked at add-ons. Add-ons which add more charges to your medkit has also been reviewed. And they say it's now impossible for a medkit to fully heal a survivor more than twice in a match. Okay. I'm sure if survivors bring perks like Built to Last and Streetwise, they'll still be able to heal themselves more than twice. So, okay. So, yeah, that was one of the big ones. I'm sure there are many survivor mains on the forums and on Twitter all complaining, saying Survivor's dead now. There's no reason to play Survivor. I won't be playing Survivor anymore. Give me a break. There are always going to be Survivor players. Survivor is a role that will never not be played in this game. Okay? It is the majority of the people who play this game. These changes will not cause people to all of a sudden stop playing the game. I mean, come on. This is a good update for killers because, yeah, medkits were kind of out of control. Especially when you had a hit-and-run killer like Wraith. I mean, come on. You need to learn to work as a team. It's a team game when you play Survivor. So it's not all, do whatever you want as a solo player. You actually need to work with your team. Okay, moving on to perk updates. Gearhead. Who the hell cares about Gearhead? Who uses Gearhead? Absolutely no one. Absolutely no one uses Gearhead. These changes are meaningless. It's like when a survivor loses a health state, Gearhead activates for 30 seconds. While active, any survivor who hits a good skill check will have their aura revealed to the killer for 6, 7, 8 seconds. This is stupid. This is a stupid perk. I don't understand why this perk's even in the game. It's kind of pointless. It only activates for 30 seconds. You see their aura if they are on a generator. Big deal. I mean, maybe Artist might find it useful because she can snipe from across the map. Huntress maybe, but no. This will not increase the amount of people who use this perk. No one's using Gearhead. Come on. Overzealous. So they're basically changing it to where Overzealous will also activate when blessing a totem rather than just cleansing it. And they've also increased the speed bonus. Why? Why are you making gens go even faster? So it said Overzealous will activate when blessing a totem in addition to cleansing. Because, yeah, people were getting mad that people were cleansing totems when they want to bless them. Okay, fine. But then it's like we've also slightly increased the bonus to 8, 9, 10% from 6, 7, 8%. So at tier 3, Overzealous will make gens go 10% faster now when a person cleanses or blesses a totem. Why? Why are you doing this? Stop making gen speeds go faster. This is not a good direction. And this one's even worse. Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. So Pain Resonance was already on life support because you have to... There are only 4 Scourge Hooks on a map. There's 8 if you use a Monstrous Shrine, but, I mean, they're the basement hooks, so big deal. But there's only 4 Scourge Hooks on a map. So getting a Scourge Hook was hit or miss right off the bat. Then they nerfed it to where you don't see what generator the survivor was working on that screamed. So you couldn't go to that gen and apply a second slowdown perk. So it was already on life support. Now it's pretty much dead. I don't see anyone using this perk. This is what they say. This perk has gradually found its way back into the meta. So right off the bat, they're saying that we don't want it in the meta. It somehow found its way back into the meta. We're going to make sure it stays dead. To address this, we have given Scourge Hook Pain Resonance a slight rework. The perk starts with 4 tokens. First time each survivor is hooked on a Scourge Hook, the generator with the most progress will explode and lose progress. Okay, so it's still the same amount of progress, but it's now only 4 tokens. So you can only use it 4 times in the match. Combine that with you only get 4 Scourge Hooks. And yeah, this is a dead perk. No one's going to be using this perk anymore. That one developer, that idiot Peanuts, basically said in a live video that, well, all you have to do to regress a generator is hook a survivor. He has no clue what he's talking about. It's hard enough to find a Scourge Hook. And then you have to down a survivor with all their second chance perks. I mean, this is the mentality that we're coming from here. So I can see why they are doing this, because of the mentality that they come from, to where they say, well, all you have to do is hook a survivor. No, it's more involved than that. So yeah, this is a dead perk. Another gen defense perk gone. Okay, Dead Heart. This is going to be very controversial. I'm sure a lot of survivors will be upset with this. Dead Heart did need a rework, though. I mean, if they're worried about Scourge Hook finding its way back to the meta, Dead Heart never left the meta. Okay, it's still super meta. So basically, he says Dead Heart will activate after safely unhooking a survivor. When activated, press the and gain the endurance stats effect. Dead Heart will deactivate when successfully protects the user from damage. So my question is, will it deactivate for the rest of the match? Or will it deactivate only after it's used that one time and then you unhook another survivor and you can use it again? If it's the latter, then not much will have changed with it. Survivors will try to unhook other survivors to make sure they can use it. If it's the former, then yeah, that's a huge nerf, which is good. But if it's the latter, I can't see much change. We'll have to see. They don't specify here, so... Call of Brine. Once again, they're nerfing another gen defense perk to tone down its power. Listen to how they word this. To tone down its power, we have reduced the additional regression speed to 125%. It was 200%. So it was slower. Basically 200%. Survivor's repair speed is like 400%. So it was half the repair speed. And the base regression is like 4 times slower than one survivor. This was like 2 times slower. Apparently that was too much. They had to bring it down to 125%. Yeah, Call of Brine's dead. There's no reason to use that perk. Overcharge has also been nerfed. They've basically made it like Call of Brine. They've reduced the regression speed to 130%. Because apparently 200% is just too OP. It's too oppressive. So yeah, these two perks gone. They've even reduced the penalty for missing the skill check to 4%. It was 5%. This is completely unnecessary, these two nerfs. That and Scourge Hook. Completely unnecessary. There's really no point in running Gen Defense anymore, it looks like. So that'll be fun. Boon Circle of Healing. Going forward, Boon Circle of Healing will no longer allow survivors to heal without a med kit. Instead, it will provide a 40, 45, 50% healing speed bonus to healing others. This bonus will not apply to healing done with a med kit. Additionally, the auras of injured survivors within the boon's range will be revealed to all other survivors. Okay, this is good and bad. Honestly, no one's going to run Circle of Healing anymore. All it does is provide a 50% healing speed bonus to healing other survivors. It's not going to allow survivors to self-care. I mean, that's good, but it's also bad because survivors will no longer have an incentive to bless a totem. And blessing a totem does take some time. It gets at least one survivor off a gen. So I have mixed feelings about this one. It's good in terms of it doesn't allow them to self-care, but it's bad in terms of no one will be running it, and therefore they will just rush gens even more. Then they've made some updates to the killers. Hillbilly. No one plays Hillbilly. Who cares about Hillbilly? Just delete him from the game at this point. I mean, come on. Something about his overheat mechanic. Yeah. Yeah, this is stupid. I mean, don't play Hillbilly. Don't care about him. If you want to read it, I'll leave it up here for a little while, but it's just not. They've increased the heat generated while chainsaw sprinting. Longer sprints will cause your chainsaw to overheat quicker. Toned down Doom Engravings and Death Engravings add-ons. Okay, they've made them provide less movement speed and increase heat generation further. Yeah, big deal. Who cares about Hillbilly? Yeah. The pig. It looks like the pig's receiving a slight buff, which is good. John's Medical File add-on increases the pig's crouch movement speed. So they've increased the movement speed to 10%. It was 6%. Okay, that's good. That's a little buff. Oni, Blackened Toenail, allow him to move faster while absorbing blood orbs. Okay, so he moves a little faster with Blackened Toenail and Bloody Sash when absorbing blood orbs. Yeah, that's whatever. Nightmares, Sheep Block, and Unicorn Block add-ons inflict survivors for a longer duration now. It's 30 seconds. They're still kind of useless. I mean, I guess if a survivor's running Windows, that would be useful, but whatever. The Executioner, Scarlet Egg add-on they're increasing the duration of Killer Instinct inflicted by Rites of Judgment when you use it to 3 seconds. Still a trash add-on. It's like big deal. Clown, once again, is getting a nerf. Redhead's Pinky Finger add-on can be incredibly powerful. Whatever. You have to actually hit them with the bottles, It is a skillful thing. It's not like a brain-dead situation where you can automatically get them down. It's not like Skull Merchant, where if they stay within a drone's range for so long, they get exposed. You actually have to have some skill with the clown. But apparently it's just too powerful still, so the add-on will reduce the maximum held bottles by 3. So he will only have 1 bottle now when he uses his Pinky Finger add-on, unless you use the other add-on that gives you an extra couple bottles or something. It's stupid. Yeah, let's nerf one of the weaker killers in the game. Yeah, that's a good idea. This is another major update, and this is the last one, I believe, that's coming, is the flashlight nerfs, it looks like. So the Wraith, they've removed the ability to burn the Wraith out of his cloak, which is awesome. That was very annoying. The Nurse, they've removed the ability of flashlights to prevent her from blinking, which is good. I mean, I thought that was kind of stupid as well. The Artist, they've removed the ability of flashlights to dissipate her crows, which is good. These are good changes. The Hag, this is bad. Flashlights have been the counter to Hag's phantasm traps. You can shine a flashlight on a trap and it'll disappear. That no longer will be possible. The problem is, and here's once again with their wording, to ensure that this doesn't make the Hag too oppressive. Yes, Hag is so oppressive. We are adding the ability to wipe away a phantasm trap. In order to do so, survivors will need to spot the trap. Well, yeah. They're pretty easy to spot, except on a swamp map and on a map with tall grass. Crouch over it to avoid setting off, then perform a several second long action to clear it. So basically they're giving, when it comes to Hag, they're giving survivors flashlights at base. This will not make it much more difficult and time consuming to do so. No. What are they talking about? While this will allow all survivors to clear traps, it will now be much more difficult and time consuming to do so. No, it won't. Give me a break. Yeah. So the Hag's dead. There's really no reason to play her now. Her only ability that would actually grant you a decisive advantage in chase is you don't even really chase with Hag. So the only thing she's got going for her are her traps. And if any survivor can go and disarm one of her traps now without a flashlight, this is why all Hags would run Franklins, to get rid of those flashlights. But now they're going to have flashlights at base when going against Hag. So, why? I mean, I guess she's like Trapper now, where you can disarm his traps. So she's gone down to Trapper level on the on the tier list. Wonderful. Yeah, Trapper will have some company there at the bottom. Okay, brilliant decision. The rest of the update goes into the Deep Drift. Don't really care about that. Changing things with the Tome and the Rift and whatever. They do not say when this update will be coming out. The public test build for the Tools of Torment mid-chapter update will open next week, which means it'll most likely be on Tuesday of next week, and then 2 weeks from that, the update will go live. I'm in no hurry to play this game at all on the live servers, to play any killer, any survivor on this game because of what's been going on with the DDoS issue. So that's the most important thing they need to be addressing right now. Not this update, not new cosmetics, Not a new anniversary event, not a new killer. They need to be addressing player security, and they're not. I understand if they want to keep things behind the scenes so people aren't tipped off, but they do need to throw the player base a little bone here and say, hey, we understand what's going on. We're working on it. Just something like that instead of gaslighting the community and saying, well, this isn't happening at all. So this is, I figured you as my viewers would want a breakdown of this developer update and my opinion on it. But honestly, it's all irrelevant until they fix this thing with the hackers. So we will see what happens in the coming months. But that's it for now.